Hey y'all, Tony here at Harrisburg Honda, and of course we're back again with a brand new redesign here for 2023, the all new, highly anticipated 23 CRV. Now, of course, when we look at the 23 versus the 22 CRV, we know this last generation's was a little taller, a little more narrow versus the 23. This vehicle is wider, sits a little lower, and makes it easier to get in and out of. Now look at this front grille. We have a wider grille now for better airflow for that standard 1.5 liter turbocharged engine. But also we see something aggressive with the front styling. It shares some of those same Civic cues with the front and now that new aggressive front splitter. Now back to the grille, you'll see on this EXL model you have this black finish with this chrome lip all the way across the top. Now this one has been accessorized with that hood air deflector, which can be optional, but you do have this standard now aggressive acute headlight across the board for the new CRV. As you get closer and you start walking around this vehicle, you see how dynamic and sophisticated it truly is, especially with this headlight design. We saw it with the Civic, we saw it with the HRV, and we loved it. So now with the CRV, it's incredible, especially with the daytime running light up top that holds it all in, and of course this chrome little strip now that wraps the whole top. And of course, moving down to this new CRV EXL package, we have standard parking sensors in the front and the rear. Honda's made it simple now for 2023. You only have 4 trim packages and models to choose from. For your gas options, you have your EX and your top line EXL model. Now on the hybrid side, you have your Sport and the all-new Sport Touring Hybrid, which will be coming soon. Now, of course, your EX model is going to be the new entry package for Honda, but it's going to be extremely well equipped compared to previous year models. With that 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, you're going to see that with the EX and the XL. Now, on your Sport and your Sport Touring Hybrids, you get the 2 liter hybrid motor that has an output of just over 204 horsepower. Now the biggest styling point in the last generation CRV was how that front hood and bumper meshed and flowed together. It was very aggressive, it was very sharp, almost had that teardrop design like we saw with the last generation Civic now. This new CRV, the 6th generation CRV, throws that out. We have more of a boxier design, an aggressive, acute 90-degree angle design, similar to how the new Passport looks, and we love that design also. But it grows the vehicle up. It's more of a mature CRV than last year's model. Now we have that aggressive angling that flows down the body. We have multiple horizontal stacked lines that make up the new side body for this 23 CRV. One of the cleanest design lines now on the new CRV is how that daytime running light wraps all the way down that main line of the body, straight through the doors to the rear tail light where it meets with an obtuse angle design. Look at the front hood. It's wider and lower for easier visibility. Also, you have this nice flared out design on your front fender, which shares some concepts from 22, so you don't completely lose that aggressive styling. Speaking of styling now, these new wheels for 23 are awesome and they're super clean. Standard are going to be your 18-inch alloy wheels on your EX and your EXL and your Sport. Now when you move up to the big boy, the Sport Touring, you'll see a blacked out 19-inch alloy wheel package. Now just like with the other redesign models we've seen for 23, the CRV has that increased A-pillar angle now for increased visibility there for your drivers. Also now your side mirror, just like with the HRV and the Civic, is going to be located lower and pushed back on the door. Now again, that increases your visibility. Standard for the first time is going to be the Honda sensing package across the board. So in your EX, your EXL models all the way up, you're going to get that great safety features from Honda. Now look at the side view of this new 23 CRV. Everything is very horizontal, very forward moving. It's very sophisticated and it's just simple. Now also we have increased cabin space now for your passengers. And we can see that with how these new back windows are designed. You have increased angles here, and that rear quarter kick glass, as Honda calls it, is also increased for 2023. Now with all new redesigns, of course, the vehicles get a little bit bigger. With the CRV, we're only looking at about 2.5 inches of increased length. Now from wheelbase length, we're talking about 40 millimeters or just over 1.5 inches. Now some of the most important cues for this new CRV is going to be the increased ability of that all-wheel drive system. So no longer do we have a 60-40 split, but now we have more of a 50-50 design and transfer of power in your all-wheel drive modes. Yes, it still has a CVT transmission, and yes, it still has that awesome 1.5 liter turbocharged engine, but that CVT has been refined for smoother acceleration. But the most important thing is that 1.5 liter turbocharged engine builds boost at a lower RPM. So that means for quicker acceleration and easier driving on the road. Now from this angle, we can truly appreciate what Honda's done with this new redesigned CRV, especially looking at the height that's now increased for the top portion of this vehicle. Compared to the similar models like the first generation CR-V, it's why we really love the vehicle. It gave us more increased visibility and cargo capacity. Now looking down the styling of this new tail light, we see something that's changed from 22 now. It's not as aggressive and edgy. It's a lot more simple and it's mature. The vehicle's grown up in itself. Of course, in the rear of the new CR-V, we still have those same traditional cues that makes the CR-V the CR-V, like that vertical taillight design. Now your turn signal indicator for 23 won't be located now in that vertical inside post, but it'll be located now in a better location. It's a little bit brighter for consumers especially. Now moving down, you have this full LED taillight here that's sectioned off with this awesome new styling for 23. Similar cues that we've seen with Acura and also what Honda's done with the HR-V, we see now with the CR-V. Now the 23 CR-V isn't as tall and narrow like the last year's models. It's wider, it sits a little lower, and we see that now with that back styling of that rear glass. Last year's model was a little more boxed in and cramped. This is very stretched out, very sleek now, and of course increases that visibility for the driver. And you'll see on the side styling of the new CR-V, it doesn't have that aggressive push in now. So you don't lose any of the space now for your backseat passengers now because you have that increased angle at the top. The 23 CR-Vs will have that dual exhaust finish, of course. Now in your EX and your EXL models, you won't have that physical exhaust finishers, but you'll see that on the Sport Touring models, which really break up that back end. Now speaking about this back end, you also see how it's sleeker and it's a little more simple now for 23. We have your parking sensors in the rear standard for your EXL models, your reflectors there at the bottom, but what wraps that bumper together is going to be that same honeycomb design that we see in the front that wraps the dash together as well. So generation after generation, we see that Honda's design angles and cues have simplified, but they've gotten more sophisticated. Now with the CR-V EXL packages and up, you still get that power lift tailgate. So that's one thing that hasn't changed over time. Now you still have your hold the height. Still for the CR-V is that height adjustable tailgate. So for short people like me, all you have to do is grab it when you can, pull it to the desired height, hold it, wait for the beep. Now you set it and forget it. So next time you open it up, it's going to stop right at that desired height, so you're not reaching to the sky. Now in the rear, the most attractive thing about the CR-V is its cargo capacity. With just over 36 cubic feet of space now, it's class leading for 23 model. When the seats are flat and flush, we see something different that we didn't have in last year's model. That little ridge there. Now of course you're thinking, Tony, that's going to be a problem. But for your backseat passengers, they're going to love it because of that ridge, they get over 8 adjustable angles for the backseat passengers. So they can recline it back as far as they like. You still have that dual table ability. But of course, when the back seats are down, you have 76 cubic foot of space. Now let's jump on the inside and show you why it's even more impressive for 2023. Welcome now to the inside of the all-new redesigned 23 CR-V. And check it out. We see a lot of the same similarities now with how we had the redesigned Civic front end, the HR-V's dash layout as well. The CR-V shares that honeycomb design. Now one big thing that we notice is that shifter, that center console layout is pushed back a little bit. It gives us more of a sedan feel in the CR-V. Also, on the door panels, they throw away that wood grain trim paneling, and we have now this black carbon type material. It's also touch sensitive material, which we saw with the Ridgeline and also the Odysseys around the shifter. So you're not going to see a lot of fingerprints around those doors. Now on your EXL packages, you're going to have that leather wrapped steering wheel. It's extremely futuristic, but it's also very user friendly with your controls and your button layout. The instrument cluster of this new CR-V also varies from 22. Instead of that full digital display, we now have analog displays, and we also have a digital cue in the center. Plus, traffic sign indicator is standard now for 23. Now also for 23, we have this floating tablet design. Now in your EXL models and up, you get this awesome 9-inch layout. On your EX packages, it'll still be a 7-inch touchscreen display. Now new for 23 is going to be wireless CarPlay for your EXL packages and up, which gives you that built-in navigation simply from your cell phone without having to plug it in physically. Traditional dual climate control now for Honda still on 23. Wireless charging is going to be new for the EXL packages. We used to see that with the Touring option. Also, we have that physical shifter that's located down, a little easier access for your driver, and we also have different drive mode selects for 23. We have your eco mode, just like standard, but you now have a snow mode and a downhill descent button also. Right behind your cup holders for 23, you see a little additional storage compartments, but as we open up your main storage compartment, that removable tray is where you can store your phone, you can store change or keys, but now it can be simply tucked away and hidden for more increased space. Now, not only has the body, the inside, and the aesthetics of the 23 CRV changed, but the seats have also. And these are probably the most comfortable seats Honda's created yet. Not only do we have increased lumbar support for the waist and of course for your side, but they also have increased pelvic support for your passengers and your driver, which is all new. So this is the best and the most comfortable seat that Honda's created yet for the CRV. Now look at it. We see that it is a little bit wider compared to last generation, but we also see this increased support here at the bottom. Another thing that you'll notice is the feel of the seat. Most consumers give you a hard seat now, but this one right here is soft, and like I said earlier, it's the best seat Honda's made yet. You have increased back support now, and you also have increased center support here for your seat. The way the back of the seat and the bottom of the seat meet, there's no gap. Before, you had this giant gap there, almost like a canyon, where you would get a little bit of cramp in your back. That's done away now, and it's all nice and flush for 23. So in all, it makes that whole seat wrap the driver and your passengers. Now, all new for 23, check this out. Almost a 90-degree angle for opening your rear doors. Now, what does that mean? Of course, it's easier for your backseat passengers to get in and out, but also loading any kind of goods now in the rear is going to be even easier. Now, on the inside of the all-new CRV, you can see you have an increase of legroom, shoulder room, and head space. Now, the most important thing is going to be where your child safety restraints are located. Before, you had to shove your whole arm into the seat to find those hooks. Now they're visible and they're super easy to find. A cool first for the CRV in this year package is going to be the 8 adjustable angles you have for your back seats. So you can leave it at a perfect 90 degree, which is going to increase now your cargo capacity. But when you do have passengers, no worries. You can drop them down. Let's say the kid's going to be on a long trip as well and they want to take a little nap. Drop that seat all the way back for the perfect reclining features. Now, talking about the seats as well, we loved the new redesigned front seats. Now, these new redesigned rear seats are just as incredible. We have increased thigh support, tailbone support, and lumbar support in the back. Plus, they're just as stiff and supportive as those front seats are, but still offer a soft finish that we love. Now, at the end of the video, what we all care about the most, the price, the price, the price. And of course, starting at your entry-level CRV now, which is going to be the EX. The well-equipped, well-packed EX model is going to start right around $32,600, depending on the non-premium color option. Moving up to your EXL model, you're going to be looking at a price point of $35,260, again, depending on if that's a non-premium color or a premium color. Now moving to the hybrid segment. With the Sport model, we're going to see an MSRP starting at $33,900. And our Touring model now, the highly anticipated Sport Touring CRV, is going to start at $38,600 now at the MSRP. Well, folks, thank you so much again for tuning into part 1 of our 2-part series on the all-new 23 CRV. We hope you enjoyed it, but the most important thing is we hope to see you in our showrooms, test driving one and getting a feel for it yourself. Thank you again. See y'all soon. No. Sorry, grab it. Just like with the tradition. Come on, dog. So now around, so where your couples are located, you have tons of little storage. So now where your couples, wow, come on, dude. Yeah. So now where your cup holders are loaded, so where your cup, come on, bro. Sorry. So for 2023,
So hard to say.
take that tray. No. No worries. Take that tray. All right, do that again. All right.
It's easy, I promise.
And on the inside, of course, you have this little, and on the inside, my bad. And then I keep like getting my words twisted.
That's all right. Okay.
Moving in of the new rear, freak, okay.